phone call. Bye. Hey, Linda.
My sweetheart. Hey,
How are you?
I'm absolutely great.
You look
I
wonderful.
have to leave my glass on sometimes so I can see you. Oh, darling, I wear my hair like that sometimes. It's rather good.
Yeah.
But it took me a long time to grow. So do you know Brett Jones, who's brought a lot of fans to watch tonight? I don't know how they do it, but she's been wonderful to me for a lot of years, and she's helped organize things like signing for Star Trek or whatever, but she's just a fabulous girl. And she heard about this, I don't know how, I didn't tell her. And she said, oh, a lot of people are going to join this, people all want to see it because, we know Julian is on, you're going to talk about the episode. Oh, and they also do the Avengers treasure hunt every year. And she always wins it, this girl. Do you know anything about that, Julian? There's they
never heard of it.
Clues from the episodes, like from your episode, they would guess how many changes does Julian Chagrin do as a character, and then there's the winner. From Dougie to everyone, hello, Linda and Julian. Okay. Hello, Dougie.
Hello, Dougie.
Julian, don't make me laugh too much because you'll crack my makeup.
Oh no, can't have that, love.
Crack the mask, carefully formed. Look, Julian's in his amazing house in Einhorn. Look at that wonderful Arab vaulted ceiling. Is it?
An arch.
The arch is so beautiful.
Yeah.
The arch.
Well, we expect you to come and visit.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
I'm coming by hook or by crook. I may not get to Bhutan because of the elevation.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
It's like very high up, and I get, as it were, altitude sick.
Yeah, me too, yeah.
Oh, do you honestly, darling?
Yeah.
Yeah, but not in Israel.
No, we went to Peru, and I got it. Yeah.
And you drank the dreaded stuff, for the doctor stuff, and you puked a lot.
Oh, yes, I did that.
You did that purification thing.
Ayahuasca, yeah.
Ayahuasca.
Yeah, and I saw a whole lot of green monkeys.
I could do that if I just had an edible gummy or something. Just kidding. But the thing is, if you, this is your show. I've got nothing to do with it. But because of the different things that they do perform together, that people in the show, these are all things Julian taught me, like. Then those are the things. They're always in different costume, and then the finale, of course, with the show. So, but you're watching the whole thing. We're going to see all of that anyway, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Yeah. So, of course, the main conversation will be obviously when you guys are on the screen, but we'll talk about various aspects of the.
Bernie Cribbins is very funny. You've seen that, Julian? You've seen?
Yeah, he's wonderful.
I thought he just really did something with that. It was just that, and that hilarious laugh. He's always
great.
Yep.
Is he still alive, by the way? No?
Is Bernie Cribbins still alive? Let me think.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, he's still going.
Yeah, great.
Yes, he's still alive. I'm so glad. So glad.
Good.
And John Cleese is still alive.
Yes, he's amazing.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Jimmy Jewell is not alive.
No, I didn't expect to.
No, he was much older.
He was quite ancient. Yeah.
Yes, and who else am I thinking of? Patrick is sadly not alive, darling.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. When
My
did he go?
partner in crime. He died when he was 93.
Wow.
I know. He lived a long time. He gave up alcohol in his early 50s. He just went complete cold turkey. And I think he lived all those years because he never had another drink. But I remember Julian, he said to me, well, the doctors have said if I have another drink, I could die. But he said, darling, I will never, ever be funny again. And I said, oh, I don't know about that. And then after about a month of working with him, and I don't know, we went to dinner or something. And I just went like that, one night. And I said, darling, I want to tell you something. You've never been funnier. And he was. He was so much funnier because he remembered the whole story and all the names. And I sincerely meant it.
Wonderful.
But who's the other? There's another. There's Bernie and Julian and Jimmy and John Cleese and there's another.
John Woodbine.
Whom?
John Woodbine.
Oh, John Woodbine.
Yeah, he's still going.
They're like, but isn't there another? Wasn't there another? No, they're not. They're the people in the company that had to be killed, that ran the bad company. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we mentioned all these.
I'm appropriately drinking champagne.
Oh my God.
Because Tara always did at the end of the episode.
Of course. Cheers.
And are you having well water, Julian?
Yes, I'm having San Benedetto water.
Yummy. Some Italian. Is it fizzy or still? I quite like still water.
Still.
Because they run deep.
Oh, I've heard that. Yeah. Oh, dear me.
So I think we've got the majority of the audience now online.
Oh dear, how terrifying. Is Rolanda there? Is she there listening?
No, she's in the other room.
She's in the other room. Well, please give her my love.
Of course I will. Absolutely.
I won't talk much. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. That would be a first. No. Okay. I know. Shh. Pretend we're not here.
We're not.
Pretend. Shh. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, you're kidding. We are here.
Yes, I'm trying to, kid most of the time because I learned from the best. Stop it.
Very good.
Very, very, very good. I do so many things you taught me. So many things.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and every morning I do that,
Oh, fantastic. It's so good for you.
What's that called? It begins with I. Yeah.
Undulation.
Undulation. You. Sorry, wrong letter. Right movement, wrong letter.
Absolutely. Terrific. Oh, it's so good for you.
No, I know. All of the, yeah.
I've got something funny with my eye, as you can.
Yes.
It's gone blind.
Okay.
Have you really? It's not just a bite or something.
No, it's gone blind. They had lots of operations. And
My sweetheart.
it went blind. But I can see perfectly well with the other one.
I know, it's extraordinary how we just kind of adapt.
Yeah.
Okay, how am I sounding now?
Beautiful still.
You're still ravishing.
How to think of?
Sounds all right now, actually.
Oh, is it okay?
Yeah, there's no more interference. Can you hear any, Linda?
Not right at the moment, no.
No.
It may have been an internet connection problem.
Oh.
So
Cool. Fab.
Hopefully it's corrected itself.
So it's quarter past. Oh! I remember that. So it's 7:15. So
Yeah.
everybody in there and
Let us make a start. So I'm just gonna say welcome to everybody that's joining us for tonight's watch along of.
I think they just saw me put lipstick on. Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
So welcome everybody for joining us for this watch along of this wonderful Avengers episode. For those that are going to be watching the episode in the background as we have our conversation, if you just want to get the episode ready in front of you, we're going to pause on the opening titles that says Avengers in colour. So if everybody just wants to get that in front of them. So we're going to press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. Okay. So the first question I had for Linda, these wonderful opening titles with you and Patrick McNee, do you remember filming those when they came about?
Oh, the title, filming the titles.
Yeah.
Yes, it was very late on. I'd already been doing the show for a long time, and through a sequence of events, my anyway, my hair ended up being very short. We won't have to go into that whole story. But that was when my hair was, real hair was very short and dark. And we went out to the country to shoot what you see now. But we had shot other titles early on with me wearing a wig and in a sort of pumpkin-coloured suit. And then the producers didn't like those in America. So this was the reshooting of the other titles, which was all outdoors on a glorious summer day, running across a bridge, running through a field, and flowers, full-length black dress, and the flowers are thrown, and I catch them, and the door opens. It took about 2 days to shoot it, but and Patrick's there, and I thought they were lovely because it was a lovely natural outdoor opening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're very iconic and wonderful. At the beginning of the episode, we have an actor called Richard Young as Sir Jeremy. He's the first victim of Julian and Jimmy. Would you guys have met all the cast at a read through, or would it just be perhaps the people you worked with on shared scenes with?
What read through?
Didn't do read throughs for? Did you get much rehearsal time or?
Rehearsal time. Why don't you let Julian answer?
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't there, so you can answer.
What do you mean you weren't there for the read-through? But we never got read-throughs, so...
Never had a read-through, no.
No, so that was later on in television when a cast got a read-through. You got the script at some point, hopefully, before you were going on stage. And for me, usually, I was shooting at least 2 episodes together. So I just pick up the script and see what episode that was in and what was that story and put the costume on and run down on the set. Because we got behind time in the air dates in the US. But this episode that we're talking about tonight, I have a wig on in the episode, and I can't remember what the conceit was, but Taurus Flat had wigs on wig stands. Because within the episode, you can see I have the hair I have in the beginning, and then I have very long hair at one point, and then I have very short hair, the last scene, the tag scene, when we go to the opera. So I think it was accepted at that point that it was London in the 70s. Everyone was wearing wigs. Girls were wearing wigs. It was very hip to the scene to put on a wig. It wasn't like, oh God, I've lost my hair or anything tragic like that. But what was the question?
Oh, well, we're just in terms of how much notice you would have had with the script.
Oh, with the script, yes, with the script. Very little, very, very little. But I will say, Dennis Spooner, wonderful writer, who wrote this, I'm sure. I knew that he was going to be one of the, because I think he'd written some of Diana's, hadn't he? He did. And he was very highly regarded. But my great excitement, because I hadn't met Julian yet, otherwise that would have been my great excitement, was that Jimmy Hill was directing it.
Yeah.
And I had seen Born Free, and I think it was, in my experience on the Avengers, the first major movie director who came and directed Avengers episodes, and he expressed a wish to do them because he loved the show. So, and he was marvelous, wasn't he, Julian?
Smashing. Very comfortable with him. Yeah,
senior person, knew what he was doing. Big movie director.
Was he kind of director who let you do your own thing, or did he sort of have lots of notes? How was he? What's his directing style?
Notes? No, I'm just saying, like, notes. It was like, take one, do it again, do it better, do it less, do it faster. There wasn't. I mean, Julian, you were there for your. I mean, did Jimmy? Obviously, you worked out what you and Jimmy Jewel were going to do. Jimmy Hill knew.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was more than one take. If you weren't perfect on the first take,
I would imagine. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And there was something. Do you remember this, Julian? There was something that was very, very new to all of filming, and it was called Adivision. And it was the first time you could shoot a scene 4-camera film, all on film, which the whole series was, and immediately go to the side, to the set, and see the scene played back on a TV camera. And that had not been known until, and not even the first few episodes of the Avengers. Gil Taylor, great director of photography, he did our show, Julian, and he was a wonderful man. Remember that? He was very sort of British, laid back, tall, lean, dark hair, and Gil Taylor was considered the best director of photography in the business.
Wow.
But he used to say, do you want to see? And I said, see. So you learned so much when you could go over and watch the scene played back. And then when they did another take, you know, I don't know if I even knew terms like too big, too small, but I mean, it was just, Julian was just like too funny. You know, there were no other two ways about it, because first of all, he was miming, and then he had his horn and, you know, all his expressions and trying to tell Jimmy what was going on. And then, you know, but the facial expressions, I mean, that's not something people had seen much of, certainly not in series television.
No.
And mime actually carrying a whole thing, being screamingly funny, and then Jimmy next to him, understanding every word he didn't say, and moving the plot forward as if they planned it all. It was, I'd never seen anything like it. And it was the first of anything like that
Wow,
most
is that
people
so?
had seen on television. You know, a mime guest starring in a TV show, playing a part, being extremely funny on TV, saying nothing. It was, you know, we weren't watching, you know, Marceau or Lecoq or a silent movie. We were watching Julian in the Avengers. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was quite a fresh
Never
idea
knew.
at the time, certainly.
You never knew. Well, the thing, one does find out that at the advent of so many things eventually, if you live long enough.
Yeah.
Oh,
How
find
did you-
stuff out.
Right, you are, love.
I was going to ask Julian, what was it like working with Jimmy Jewell?
I loved him. He was a professional and he was talented.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't, he was very famous,
Yes.
Julian Morris, and he didn't have an ounce of any sort of nothing, just doing the work and enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
Great man.
And was that the same experience for you, Linda, being of Jimmy Jewell?
I knew of Jimmy Jewell, but I also knew of Julian Chagrin, but I'd never met him before. And I just thought, when I first did the first scene with them or something, that they must have worked together for years or done a show or really known each other very well. And you didn't, did you, Julian?
No, we met that day.
Met that day. And I mean, there isn't a single moment when they're not absolutely in unison, knowing what, I mean, bum, 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 or whatever they're doing. And the looks back and forth, lightning fast. So I was kind of sitting around, you know, admiring them because I didn't have that much to say. And, you know, for the whole thing for me was these fantastic actors who came on the show. And I was just such a novice straight out of drama school. And I was in awe. And I just wanted to learn how they did it. You know, that, to me, it was, how do you just go on the set and they say, actually, you just do this? Because it was like a play, you know, and it was vaudeville, wasn't it? It was, yeah, so I was just pretty in awe of everybody. Bernie Cribbins, I did know John Cleese. I certainly knew John Cleese. That was the magic of the Avengers, is that so many wonderful actors and performers wanted to be on the show. I mean, I think I got to, in that 2 years, work with some of the greatest actors ever. You know, Julian Glover, Ian Ogilvy, and Julian Chagrin. I mean, you know, it was like...
All the Julians. All the Julians. Tell me, is Glover still alive, do you know?
Yes, he is. Very, very, very much so. And his son is also a terrific actor.
Oh, yeah?
And Julian's married to Isla Blair, who still does lots of stuff. And yes, Julian, I saw him, I think, at the Royal Court playing or at the Old Vic, playing this wonderful, very, very old, very wonderful man. And he was just so perfect because, of course, he fits perfectly. And he's still able to get up and do it. But
Good
he's
for him.
in his,
Yeah.
way in his 80s. Way
Yeah.
in his 80s.
Must be.
86 or 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Currently watching your scene with John Cleese at the moment, and I think it's a wonderful moment of
The Eggman.
Yeah, he's wonderful.
Do you have many memories of the scenes with John?
Well, my overriding memory is how often they had to try to do it because I just started to laugh so much. Whatever he did, I started laughing. And at one point, I mean, he actually grabbed the thing with all the eggs on it because he said something and I went, ah! And I sort of slightly, I don't know what I did, but it started to tip a little bit in real life. And it was just like, so it was like when I did the Frankie Howard show, I couldn't get through it because I'm a terrible corpser, as they call them. It just made me laugh a lot. And we finally did get through the scene, but John does that drive. And of course, he was absolutely furious. I'd be terrified that anyone would break an egg after all that he'd. But what an ingenious thing. He did all the clowns, and there was only one. And I could remember that we found the nose.
Yeah.
And then it was just, and it was very ingenious in that, that's Dennis Spooner in the writing. But the scene, in Jimmy Hill, just letting John do what he does.
Yeah.
But we did have to shoot it quite a lot because he is incredibly funny.
Yeah.
Just by being furious. Oh, great! I mean, just and it just so because it's completely real.
Yeah.
So.
I mean,
So
John,
good, so good, so good.
John is aware that we're doing this tonight, but because of his American tour, unfortunately, he couldn't join us. But
Yes, I understand that, but I'm sure he would. And I met him. Now let me see. It's probably about 7 years ago in Mystique, when I was going up on a sailboat with a couple of people who knew how to sail, and they took me along. And we went through the Grenadines. And so we anchored off Mystique, where Princess Margaret used to go and everything. And we went in there, and there was this nightclub, Harry's Bar, and we went in, and John was there with the first American wife, who was just divine. She makes jewelry, buys jewelry, and we sort of met. And then the next day, I saw them in this boutique, and we had this long conversation. And I remember John was having trouble. Just not, he was getting quite depressed writing his memoir. And I remember saying, oh, I've been trying to write mine for years. It's very depressing, but you've just got to plow on because the British public will really, really want to hear this story, your story. And John was way in his 60s then. But imagine running into him. And we had this long conversation about the Eggman and Julian and Jimmy, Jewel and Bernie. And we just had this long conversation about the show. And he said he just thought it was just he loved doing it. He loved everything about the Avengers. It's very, very good to hear how much he admired something I was involved in that he was also on.
Yeah. I suppose the Avengers was, as you said before, one of those shows which everybody wanted.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Yeah, you speak up.
The Avengers is one of those shows that everybody wanted to be a part of. What was your knowledge of the Avengers going into it, Julian? Did you watch Avengers before you?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. It was very famous, and I loved it. And I was very flattered to be asked to be in it. And surprised as well.
Me too.
Well,
really?
that I was. No, great honour.
We have.
Well, can I just ask you a question, which the fans or you will know? What episode in me filming was this episode with Julian? How far was it? Like episode 6 or 7? 6 out of 33. How far?
If anybody knows the answer specifically, please do put it in the chat.
Okay.
It is too
I
early.
think it was about episode, I would guess episode 10 or 11, probably,
Yeah.
you know, considering the way I looked and everything.
4th of December.
Yeah, I think you're getting quite established at this point, but it's still the first half.
Yes, but I think it was winter. When? Do you remember that, Julian? I think it was Christmas, coming up to Christmas or something.
How
I
can you
know.
remember that?
I know. I don't
Amazing.
know. Probably because I was freezing more than usually freezing in my flat in Primrose Hill. Yeah. It's always freezing. Remember the heating? I mean, who had heating?
Yeah.
Who had, you know, it wasn't literally pennies in the ascot, but almost.
Yeah.
I just, it was so cold in England compared to where I'd been raised. That's another story. But I think it was Christmas time because I think we were, I can't remember, but it was a very festive, people were going on holiday, Christmas break after your show, Julian. That's what I remember. It was very,
Oh,
it was in great moods and, you know, it was probably because there was a break coming up.
yeah.
A couple of people watching have sent some comments. Joseph said it was, and Andy said February 68 was when it
February
was,
68.
episode
68? Oh.
episode 7. Allard has said production completed 29th of February 1968.
Aired in December.
Why did I remember Christmas?
Yeah, well, it has said that the location filming might have been earlier, so it might have been December for the.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of when it first went out. Was around Christmas, was December. Was Christmas when it was on the air?
Aired on the 4th of December.
The 4th of December. I knew there was something about Christmas. That's when it could be seen. Yeah. And the first time I saw it actually was then on ITV.
I mean, would you have watched it going out live, Julian? Did you like to watch your work?
I have no idea. Does that
Did
help?
we even have a television? I didn't even have television till just before, maybe.
Yeah. No, I had a television.
You had television.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes. I had a telly.
So I was just wondering, because you have such a great relationship, Julian, with Jimmy Jewel, how
Yeah.
much of your routines that you did was scripted? How much was the director? How much could you and Jimmy bring to it?
Yes.
Not to be more specific, they want to know.
Oh, I see. It was the director told us what to do, and we did it. He'd say, "Try this." We would try it, and we'd laugh, have a laugh, and do it. So there's no mystery to it.
Because it's a wonderful script, as we've already said. Dennis
Yeah.
Booth, and
Super.
Dennis's daughter Elaine is watching along with us.
Yeah, I saw her name there.
Hi, Elaine.
Thanks for joining us, Elaine.
Can I ask a question of Julian?
Yeah.
Because I think the answer will be no. You couldn't hear the music, that da 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 da. So you you and Jimmy Hill talked about it, and but yeah, because I remember that there's all sorts of stuff that I had to do, and I had no idea what the sound was.
Yeah. No idea.
No idea.
And alter that. I think I'm not sure. I can't remember if I did it live. The honking.
The honking. I think so, because I remember hearing
Right.
it on the sound.
Yeah. Okay.
The actual horn worked, because
Yeah.
that would have been very difficult to
Yeah. You're right.
exactly.
So I just wanted to ask you guys what made you want to get into the acting profession to begin with? Maybe start with Linda. What made you want to pursue an acting career?
Oh, I'm not prepared to answer that this evening. No, no, that's not part of this show at all. I think Julian is the person to ask that question.
So Julian, how did you begin your career?
My parents very early on found that I was being funny.
Mm-hmm.
It happened one day when I picked up a banana and spoke into it like a telephone and said, "Hello, is that the greengrocer? Well, could we have our telephone back, please?"
Now I know.
And anyway, so they knew I wanted to be a comedian. They they sent me to pantomime school in Paris, Jacques Lecoq.
Yeah.
Not nothing.
There for 3 years. I came back as the sort of first British mime. And very soon I was doing a one-man show all over the world, and
Which I saw.
which you saw
That
very
one
well.
was one.
Yeah, yeah,
And
you saw it.
I went to see it at the Soho. No, it was on Tottenham Court Road.
Yeah,
It was called One is One, the show.
yeah, yeah.
I was totally blown away by this man's talent. It is not anything I'd ever seen before, nor had anyone in this country. Because what Julian did was, it was all about communicating. So if you needed to communicate in some other way, like maybe say a word, say something, he would just do it because it was just about communicating.
Yeah.
The open
also
space.
The open space.
Yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant. Should have remembered. Good for you. But also was always including the audience. Julian used to say, looking at the audience, because they'd be laughing and clapping and everything, and he used to say, "I do not have a plant in the audience." You know, like there was someone. I mean, just that inclusiveness completely engaged everybody. And the Thelma Holt was the producer and has gone on to be one of the great producers
Right.
in the West End, and an amazing woman. But she completely believed in Julian, utterly, and that was it, and put him in this fabulous showcase in this theatre.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
And that was, I saw that long after you did the Avengers episode.
Yeah.
I mean, at least a year or 2 years or something. A year, at least.
Yeah, a year.
Because you'd been in Ireland, I think, doing a big movie.
Oh, I was doing Alfred the Great.
Oh, Alfred the Great. See there, he's got this movie career going, Philip. You've got about it. Keep asking.
I was playing Ivar the Boneless because I had to do acrobatics.
Because your father was a very well-known composer.
Yeah.
In the 50s, and he also composed some music for Doctor Who.
Yeah, I did.
Serial Doctor Who and the Invasion of the Daleks, that was his. And of course, your brother, very famous comic and mime, so very much in the blood, you know, the world of...
Wait a minute, are you talking about Nicholas?
Nicholas was a dancer. He wasn't a mime.
He wasn't a mime, and
No.
he was a dancer.
Yeah.
He was a very good dancer too, because
Wonderful,
looked
brilliant dancer.
great. Yeah.
Because you did do a film together, didn't you? I think was it Blow Up?
Blow Up?
Wasn't
No, he wasn't in Blow Up.
he was a dancer?
Blow Up. I was in Blow Up.
You were in Blow Up, not Nicholas.
Yeah, and also my ex-wife. We played tennis together. That's the Chagrin you
The
can see.
great Claude Chagrin,
Yeah.
who
she
was
worked
the head of mime movement inspiration. She was the great inspiration behind Equus, the horses in Equus.
Yes,
And she
right.
worked at the National Theatre for years, and she was extraordinary. And I think Julian she was French. She trained with Lecoq as well, or
Yes, she did. Yeah,
she did.
yeah, yes, she did.
She was and the mother of Julian.
My kids, yeah.
Uh,
Oh no, she was brilliant. We
Boys
did
and
it together. We did a couple of movies which were nominated for Oscars. The short movies.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, talk about the movies, the orchestra, and all the movies.
Oh, we did I did the orchestra. It was a 10-part series, which I wrote and directed and starred in. And it went very well. I mean, I was living in Israel at the time, as I am now, and I shot it all here and with the local talent. They were great, really, really good. So, and then we did those two movies, the two little short movies. One was called The Concert.
Yes.
A man doing a piano concert on a zebra crossing.
That's just,
Yeah.
I love that.
So we got, and we won the Berlin Film Festival for that one as well.
Yes.
And
Jawohl.
the Morning Spider was the other.
And the Morning Spider was the other one, which was amazing because in fact we did all the costumes and the set ourselves. There was no mucking about with television or anything like that, or we just made everything ourselves.
Yeah.
And it was great. We nearly got the Oscar.
Was that shot near the Albert Hall?
The concert was, yes, it was shot outside the Albert Hall.
Oh, it was. I thought
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Morning Spider was shot at Regent Park.
Absolutely. What about your huge money maker, which was it White's Lemonade?
Oh, it's Lemonade. Oh, yes.
I mean, this was an iconic commercial that ran forever, and everybody knew it.
17 years. Yeah.
Well, honestly,
Yeah.
I'm not sending you money anymore, really, Julian. Honestly.
Oh, come on.
Wait,
Don't-
oh God, well maybe occasionally, but I mean it was. Do you know about that, Philip?
I didn't know about that. No.
Oh my God, it was maybe the most famous commercial ever made by somebody who became famous because of the commercial, and wasn't it, Julian?
Yeah, absolutely. It was
Just
extraordinary.
extraordinary.
Extraordinary. I never quite understood why it was so popular, but it really, people adored it. Elvis Costello wrote the music.
Yes.
Yeah, and he sang it, I think.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine?
Yeah.
Like but it's because it just made you want to go get it, because the
Yeah.
whole thing was just up, and Julian's all his energy, and he was like a rock star, literally.
Yeah. In fact, we did two, and one was a rock star.
Ah,
One was coming down the stairs, and the other was a rock star.
that's right. Was it? That's right. It was. You were
Yeah.
playing. That's right. Anyway, these are huge things, and I don't know if any of the fans are anywhere nearly as old as Julian and I are, but they would remember it very well if they were.
I think they remembered it. Yeah, they would.
Yeah, I think Brett Jones, I can't see her, but I love her so much. And she, I believe, is watching this. And her mother would remember it for sure.
It was Costello's father wrote the music. It's
Oh,
somebody
it was
saying
his
here.
dad. Oh, isn't that
Yeah.
interesting?
Yeah.
Gosh, so
Yeah,
lovely.
that was,
Lovely. And then he married Diana Krall. Isn't that the most beautiful relationship? I love that.
Was
Diana Krall is a great jazz singer and
Oh,
Elvis Costello, and they
Yeah.
just, you never think that, it's like, I suppose, Mia Farrow and Andre Previn. I mean, it just seems,
Yeah, don't
or
expect it.
Mia Farrow and Frank Sinatra, even more weird. But anyway, and I love Mia. So that was just, but then they got together and they've made magical music, Elvis Costello and Diana.
Listen, my battery is running down. I have to go and get the charger. Okay.
Get that charger, but come back.
Okay.
And no, no martini while you're gone.
It might be a good point, Linda, to ask you about William Kendall. You have some lovely scenes with his bodyguard trying to find some thing in common, and you have the love of music, and there's a whole.
Wait a second, I've heard very little of what you said. My bodyguard, okay. I wasn't in that movie, The Bodyguard,
Oh no, I meant in the.
I'm just
Avengers
kidding.
Episode.
I'm just kidding. In this episode,
Yeah.
my bodyguard, what bodyguard? Didn't I go to someone's office and I'm guarding him?
You're guarding him, yes.
I'm his bodyguard, right? And that actor,
Was William Kendall.
yes,
And of course we're desperately trying to find something in common, and you have the love of music, and you're going through this whole.
eventually we find that, and then that's when the red carpet's coming under the door,
Indeed.
and then they get it under, and then they pull the carpet up, and he flies out the window. Right.
Yeah.
Thank God I watched this the other day. Yes, so that was a really, really fun scene. That was such a fun scene because, I thought it came off very, very well. I'm often very impressed by myself when I watch these episodes because it's been like 50 years. I was 20 and I can't believe I'm still alive. But anyway, it was quite fun because it felt like we were genuinely, I had to keep an eye on him, right? I totally failed because he flew out the window and died. So Tara totally failed on that mission. But anyway, have you lost your glasses, Johnny?
Who, me?
Yes.
No, have I?
Oh, I thought you were looking for something. Stop it,
Okay.
Julian.
Sorry.
What was that?
No, Rolanda put some bells on her chair for some reason.
Oh no, I thought perhaps dinner was done or something. Dinner.
Microwave.
No, really, it was a microwave. No, they don't microwave things in Israel.
Yes, we do.
Oh, yes,
we
we do. Sorry.
microwave chicken.
Of course you do. So do I. Anyway, yes. So about that scene, it was delightfully written and lovely to play. And those are the scenes that, for me, are kind of like theatre. You've actually got a scene to play with someone where you're not just going, Steve says something and I go, really? It's just like an actual scene. And so that was lovely. Of course, you don't usually get to shoot it all in one but anyway, I thought I loved doing that scene with him and he was really fun because it looked like never the twain shall meet. We would never find anything in common. And then suddenly we did.
Which scene was that?
Well, you're outside the door with Jimmy and you're pushing the red carpet under and under far enough. And you obviously have looked up at the building and known there's a window. And when you pull it out, this guy who I've been guarding, he flies out the window. It's that scene when you're outside the door and you're very quietly easing that red carpet through, which is just genius. Right. We don't notice.
Feeding through, yeah.
Because of the big yellow long shoes.
Would you, Julian, have had any input in your costume?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
I was just wondering whether Julian had any input in his costume, makeup, or whether that was...
Probably not.
We're not, no.
Not the raccoon coat?
No.
I thought that was yours. No?
No, I wish it were.
Oh.
Yes.
How about you, Linda? As the series progressed, were you able to bring more of yourself to your look, or was it?
Oh my God! I was 20 or 21. I did everything they told me, and they put a black line and false eyelashes, and but Alan Hume was darling. And the thing is that it started out that I was supposed to be this very girly person and kill people with a brick in my handbag because, I don't know, they thought I was going to be too much like Diana Rigg and all that. And then they bleached my hair blonde because they chose me from 200 people. And then everybody knows this story. And then they thought, she could be too much like Diana Rigg. So they bleached my hair blonde. And they could have had a million other blondes. And the costumes were these kind of girly little... And then they said, because they didn't want me to be in catsuits. And then they changed everything. And Alan Hume was wonderful. He got a colour scheme for Tara. He put me in the culottes, which were great and very, very, Mary Quant, fashionable, and lovely colour scheme. I thought he dressed me in the most interesting way, lots of different colours. And yet I did start to do, with Joey Dunn and with Ray Austin, a lot of stunt work. So I was in these, like pants. You can't, you can't really get in a Lotus Elan fast and drive away in a miniskirt that's halfway up your bum, So they say, oh, we could see your knickers. And I said, oh, you do the scene dressed that way and get in that little car. I dare you, because we're going to see your knickers too. But, anyway, I loved Alan Hume. He was terrific. And he really specifically was brought in to do my clothes. And I did like Tara's clothes a lot, but I didn't design them. He designed them. But if I really detested something, I know that he would not have made me wear it. But during the course of the show, because of never having any time and exercising really, I did start to gain some weight during the course of the show, And he always accommodated that rather nicely. And then when we did the final episode, Bizarre, and we went up in the spaceship, and I was dressed in this white dress with my hair all up, looking like a bride, and Steve looked like a groom, and the idea was we were probably going to get married on Mars or something. But I gained quite a lot of weight by then. But the dress hid it. Alan always looked after me. In the beginning, you can see I'm really very slim, small waist and things. I noticed those things. Other people might not. But I thought the costumes were wonderful.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. Stevens said that apparently this was one of Patrick McNee's favourite episodes. How
Yes,
does it
it is.
rate for you? Is it one of your favourites?
Are you talking to me or Julian? Oh, well, it wouldn't be
Oh,
Julian.
sorry.
Yes, absolutely. I have about 3 or 4 big favourites, and this is absolutely one for many reasons that are rather personal that I'm not going to tell you, but also because it kind of epitomised the spirit of the Avengers in a really wonderful way, and also the humour. I mean, was part of it, but this show was really funny.
It was, yeah. I mean, how do you feel that the episode holds up, Julian, after 50 years? Do you think it still holds quite well?
Yes, I think so. It's corny, but it's charming. And the charm overrides everything. It really is.
Did you have a favourite moment from the episode, Julian?
Favourite moment? Well, I should say that working with Linda, but in fact it was Jimmy.
Yeah, we didn't get to interact very much.
Not really.
Jimmy were just.
No, in fact, we didn't. Yeah.
Not then.
Jimmy and I, we really. It was like we knew what we were doing without having to say anything, really.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah.
And you can see that. You can see that. That's what I was. You can see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seamless. 2 people who understand comedy.
Yeah.
And timing. Yeah. Duh.
I was in awe before I stepped onto the set. I thought, bloody hell, this guy's been in the business for years. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
As we started, he put me in my ease. It was lovely. I felt great, and we out our sticklers, and we had a ball.
Wonderful. Did you get much attention, Julian, after the episode? Did it open doors for you?
It didn't go on for a year. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
I'll come to
Linda, do you mind?
Sorry.
No, as soon as it came out, obviously publicity and stuff like that. Normal.
Yeah. And Linda, what was the for you? Was the Avengers always a positive thing in terms of your career? Or did you ever get?
I'm just in this setting. You can't ask those huge questions. It's not appropriate for this evening. And as Julian knows, I have a very big mouth and I never stop talking. So don't stop me.
Don't start her, man.
Don't wind me up. He knows.
You say, Linda, this is perhaps in your top 10 episodes, sort of.
Oh, without a doubt, top 5.
Oh, top 5.
Oh yeah.
Well, what is your favourite, may I ask? Well,
I loved Pandora a lot.
Yeah.
Because I got to play someone other than Tara. She was someone else's imagination that I was drugged and made to become. And yet, it was, and that beautiful wedding dress, pink wedding dress, on the cover of the TV Times, was so beautiful. And it was like 1912 or something. That was Julian Glover. And it was just a completely away from everything about Tara King. But she was captured and drugged and made to pretend to this other person so they could find out where the money was, because they pretended she was the wife of this wealthy man, and she believed it. Anyway, it was an extraordinary episode. And then I loved All Done with Mirrors, Ray Austin, because that's the first time I was really using my own hair after things had happened. And then it was this great thing down in Brighton, and the body was thrown off a cliff, and I did lots of my own stunts. And then the third one is Noon Doomsday, which I adored, with T.P. McKenna, and such a great cast. And that was all done at Brian Clement's house in the country, and it went directed by Peter Sykes. It went very long, a week long, longer than they shot, but we went on and did it. And I was the Patrick, who was I? Not Patrick Wymark. Yes, no, Richard Widmark part in High Noon. And that was called Noon Doomsday, and it was based on High Noon. And Patrick had broken his leg. It was in a cast, so it was really my episode to defend him. And the clock was ticking, and the railway, and it was just a takeoff on High Noon. And it was, Brian wrote it, right? Brian Clements wrote it.
Yeah.
Terry Nation wrote that.
Oh, yeah.
Terry Nation wrote. And well, he was one of our great writers. But it was so great because I got to save Steed and do all these amazing stunts, and we had all this time. I mean, that's like, feature film. Anyway, those are my top. And stop me if you've heard this one. It was kind of unforgettable because I met the best people I met ever on that episode.
Yeah.
In the whole time of doing the Avengers. I mean, Nigel Davenport. There were a lot of great people, Christopher Fry, but Ian Ogilvy, who I adored. But this episode ended up being the people I really thought I got to do something with them. And I wasn't in scenes with anyone except Julian and Jimmy. I wasn't in, well, I was actually. Was I in The Other Murder? I don't think I was in The Other Murders. Tara wasn't around for The Other Murder.
Oh, no.
It's just it's when they get me and tie me up in the chair, cross-legged in the chair. Yes. Yeah. Very painful to be cross-legged for all that time in the chair. No.
Yeah, it didn't seem the most comfortable position, to be honest.
I don't think I could do that now, not for all that time. I couldn't be. I was better at yoga then. Or yogurt, as my father called it. Okay, zip it.
We've had a question from a gentleman called Clifford who's watching. He's under the impression, Linda, that you were Julian's Julian's assistant for a time. Did you work together as Julian's assistant at some point?
I think what happened is that there was a girl who was his assistant in the show, and the show went to Edinburgh, right? It went to Edinburgh, to the Lyceum, and I had seen the show. I don't know what, I knew something about it, but I went. Julian needed an assistant. I'd never been to the Edinburgh Festival, and I remember I went up there, and I knew how to be his assistant because I had seen his show maybe 3 times. So I knew what she had to do, and I actually think at that point I got away with wearing a quite a sort of nice, risque sort of costume and just bringing the props on and off. And then Julian would say things about me, and I would just have to, of course, get off stage before I laughed. But that's all I did. I just brought props on and off, and I got to go to the Edinburgh Festival and work with Julian. So it was amazing.
She was great.
Amazing.
Yeah, you were great.
I had a question from Des for Julian. You did an episode of Here Come the Double Deckers.
Yeah.
A similar quick change scene as in the end of this episode. Was that something that you brought to or was it just kind of coincidence?
No. It just, to tell you the truth, I don't remember much about that. Sorry to say, about the double deckers. I know that I did it.
Yeah.
What did you play though?
I don't know.
What, the conductor, the driver?
Maybe the bus conductor.
Bus conductor is what you play.
Yeah.
It was very funny.
Yeah?
Yes. Yes, you just Google it, look it up.
I will afterwards. Google. Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, it's totally amazing. It'd be amazing if you and I had bought a few shares early on.
Yeah. Wow.
Or shares in Zoom. That's been very...
Zoom has been very good, but it's really lost a fortune since the end of the pandemic.
Oh yeah, it was never good.
As has Netflix, as has,
It's lost what? Sorry?
a lot of money since the pandemic finished.
Oh.
But that's all right, you know, you'd still have enough. I didn't
Sure.
buy any of those things.
No, me neither, I'm afraid. I wanted to ask you, Julian, because you had a very successful career in the UK, and then in the 70s moved to Israel. I was
Yeah.
wondering how that came about.
Well, it was strange. I was touring America, and my then wife and kids went back to England, and she was always sort of very interested in the spiritual aspect of life. And she suddenly said to me, "Listen, I think there's going to be a world war, and we should go to Israel." Now, she wasn't Jewish; she was in fact Christian,
Yeah.
and I wasn't anything. I mean, my dad was Jewish, but my mother was not. And so I thought, okay, I'm an improviser. I'll just go pick up. Let's go to Israel and see what happens. So we did. And as soon as I got there, I was inundated with offers at the Israel Festival and at the Jerusalem Festival, and all over the kibbutzim were asking to come and do my show there. And I never stopped working. I arrived, and in a week, I was flooded with offers. It was amazing. They said they'd never seen, because mime in those days was probably arty, you know. And I wasn't at all. I was poking fun of everything. And they'd never seen mime like it. So I stayed. I was still here after.
Can you but Julian, can you talk about the TV show, the children's show, and your wife and Rolanda's, and working with Rolanda and the movies you've done together out there? And
well, yeah,
huge career. Julian and Rolanda are very famous in Israel.
It's true that we're well known, yeah, because we're on television. Whenever you're on television.
Julian just won a Lifetime Achievement Award in Israel just a few months ago.
Yes, what a memory. Thank you, darling.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. What was it like to receive that award, Julian?
Well, it was lovely. It was sort of very phallic. It was like a hand holding a ball.
You're not supposed
I won't
to
go
say
into
that.
it. And it was a lovely evening. I did a stand-up routine there in front of a massive audience, which was hilarious. Goodness.
Yeah.
And when I got back to the village, I live in an artist village called El Hod, and it's full of artists.
Yeah.
And they decided to have a festival for me. And they invited all the clowns in Israel to come secretly and perform. And they dressed me up as a king, and they made a throne, and they put me in the village. And Rolanda was there beside me. And all these great clowns, which are all buddies of mine, all performed. It was wonderful. Just amazing. Yeah. What a memory.
Rolanda was the queen.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that gorgeous?
Absolutely.
Can you imagine? This is things that people don't know about, you know, and they don't. What I mean, in Israel, you know, tough place, to have that kind of accolade is huge.
Yeah, you're right. I'd forgotten about it actually.
No, just can you say something about the children's show?
Well, we have had a long-running children's show now for about 40 years, 35 years. And it's the same show because it's so good. And the kids have never seen anything like it again because it's nobody does our stuff like we do. So it's a lovely show. The kids are hysterical. And it's a wonderful experience. There you go.
Wonderful. Elaine has asked Julian, what are your memories of working with Antonioni in Blow Up?
It was very interesting. He's full of twitches. He had twitches. And he knew exactly what he wanted. He when he interviewed me and Claude, my ex-wife, we were the only mimes in England, but he had to interview us, obviously, and to audition us.
Yeah. And
he would say, do some moves, you know. So I'd go like that. He said, yes, very good. And he knew he had a picture of the whole match in his mind. Then when we came onto the set, which was a park, they painted some of the trees green on one side. And he knew what he wanted, absolutely. Sort of genius.
Yeah.
It was quite an experience. And also working with David. Also nice.
Mimes.
Yeah.
So what attracted you, Julian, to the artistry of mime to begin with? What sort of
Great question.
It was, I was in Paris. I wanted to be a comedian. My father came over and he knew Jean-Louis Barrault, who was the Laurence Olivier of, and we met him. And my father said, listen, we don't know what to do with him. He wants to be a comedian. How can you learn to be a comedian? And he said, well, tomorrow night, giving a demonstration of his work. Why don't you see what he thinks? And I went there and I stayed for 3 years.
Yeah.
Stayed for 3 years.
Trained with
Amazing
the
man.
best. Yeah. The best.
He was fab, absolutely fabulous. He knew what he was doing. He invented a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah.
But just think to this day, Philip, I mean, all of you listening, who else is there? Who was the next Julian Chagrin? Who is there? What happened? I mean, not just what happened to Marceau and the art of mime and whatever way they may parody it or in some fashion now.
Yeah.
But actually the genuine article and what it does to an audience to understand. I mean, the only thing I can think of that is any reference for me in my little mind is the silent movies.
Yeah.
There was a way of hugely entertaining people and be madly irreverent. I mean, even like Buster Keaton, right through until he was in the talkies, with this extraordinary and precision, and the precision of what it is to be able to make everyone laugh without words.
I have to admit that.
Where are they, Julian? Where's the next Julian Chagrin? I don't know who he is.
I don't know. But I used to skip school very often, pretending that I had a stomach ache. And I would go to see the silent movies and the cartoons.
Of course.
I think that was my education.
I do too.
Yeah.
I mean, what were some of your inspirations, Linda, when you were going to?
I never had any education. I was a straight person, and I thought I've got to earn a living, and I went out. No. What was my education? I went to the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art. I got a scholarship, and I learned everything I know there until I left and realized I didn't know anything if I didn't have experience. And then I got a lot of experience because I took every job, and I always have all my life. I've taken every job, but RADA was invaluable because first of all I got in. And they took one Canadian in a blue moon, and then I had great teachers. In fact, Kate Fleming, who was my voice and speech teacher, when she first encountered me, she said, "Well, you sound like Donald Duck, and you have nasal tone. So we're going to have to get all of that out of you." And that is it. She went to the National after that, and that's when Claude was there. Claude and Kate Fleming taught together. They were the best teachers in the world, taught at the National Theatre. So I had this amazing training, and then when I left, I was asked by Susanna York to join her doing Turgenev's Month in the Country at her country home in Tunbridge Wells, Queen Anne House on the steps. And it was my 20th birthday, and so I was playing Natalia. She was Natalia Petrovna, and I was Vera, and Ian McShane was alive, and it was this wonderful, crazy thing that we did. And then there's the long stories of how I got the Avengers. But I did go and do theatre, and then once I was offered the Avengers, the principal of RADA said, "Well, if you take that, you'll never come back to the theatre." And I said, I am a person who was raised by my father to say, when opportunity knocks, open the door. So opportunity is not, I'm not going to turn this down, but I will come back to the theatre. And since then, I've done 56 plays. So I definitely came back to the theatre. But I went to the Royal Academy and I auditioned fearlessly, because when you're 16, you're extremely fearless. And I came from Canada specifically to audition. And, it's just that the one thing, I'm such an irritating person, but I've just never said no to much. And most of my girlfriends, they say, the reason why things happen for you is that you always say yes to everything. And I say, well, so whatever that means, I did go. But to go to RADA now costs an utter fortune.
Yeah.
I don't know how these kids afford to do things and whether they run up student debt. I don't really know. But honestly, in 1965, I had no money. I lived on nothing, £10 a week in a flat with 17 people using the loo. But that was it. You wanted to be in the theatre. And I was born with a great gift of knowing what I wanted to do. Julian found this through, in a way, I think my parents were nothing to do with it. But your parents actually did have the insight to know this is something our son wants to do, and we don't, what should we do? And then they were in Paris and this happened. And so he was introduced to great teachers. And those are the lucky straws we draw in life, And I just knew I wanted to go to the Actors Studio in New York or go to, England and go to the Royal Academy. And I got over there somehow and I got in. And that's because I didn't know how hard it was to get in or anything. Don't you think, Julian? Once you know you're intimidated, you might not do anything, but...
Yeah, absolutely. I actually didn't hear what you were talking about just now because we froze.
Who froze? I froze?
Yeah.
For the whole time?
I can hear you, Linda.
Could you actually not hear anything I said?
No, just the interesting bits. You're frozen again.
I can hear you and see you just fine, Linda. So I think it might be.
But I'm so sorry you missed all that, Julian, because it was all for you. No.
Oh well.
I'll tell you when I come to visit. Never mind.
I'll send
We'll
you.
sit and have dinner, you and me and Rolanda, and whatever dog you have, and the neighbours who come in because they love you, and you'll say, "Look at this old white-haired woman. I've known her for years." And then I'll tell you whatever stories. So we'll all tell each other stories.
I'll send you a copy of the recording.
Now Julian has frozen.
Yeah, I don't think we're having much luck tonight, are we, really, in some respects?
Oh, no, he's unfrozen, he's drinking water. Okay.
Yeah. As we were talking about theatre work, I was wondering, Linda, do you have a favourite stage role that you've done in your career?
Oh, I didn't know which one. We're just not talking about that this evening.
That's okay, yeah. That's fine. How about you, Julian? I did have one question for you, Julian, about whether did you have any music hall experience? That's from Stephen.
Sorry, you keep freezing. What did you say?
Well, Stephen was wondering if you have had any music hall experience in your career.
Music hall?
Yeah.
Well, I guess so. What do you think, Linda?
Are you saying musical or music hall?
Music hall. Music hall.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Have you done music hall? Julian's frozen.
That's okay.
Hello.
We're just wondering, have you done any? Do you have any music hall experience, Julian?
No. I mean, what is music hall?
What is it?
Yeah.
I suppose before getting into the vaudeville sort of all-round entertaining sort of territory.
I mean, I've been to lots of nightclubs. I suppose I don't know. I'm pretty hopeless, actually.
Philip, can I just say I'm going to have to go. It's 8:15.
Okay.
So I mean, I treasure this because Julian and I go a long way back. And I do have to say to everybody, in case they don't know, Julian in my whole life is the most talented person I have ever met and worked with. the beyond. Nobody has any idea what a huge talent. Well, a lot of people have a lot of idea. I shouldn't say that, but this is a rare human being, and he's amazing. And so it is. Everyone should cherish the episode, and anything else you would ever get hold of by going on his website and looking at the films he's made. Just watch them, because they're not like anything you've ever seen before.
Thank you, darling. Love you.
Love you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Philip. Bye bye to everyone. Bye, Brett. I love you. Love you.
Thanks, Linda. Bye.
Isn't she gorgeous?
She is, yes. Thanks, Linda. So yeah, thanks Linda for joining us. Really enjoyed having you on tonight's event. If you're okay to hold on for a few minutes, Julian, I just have a couple of wrap-up questions, if that's okay.
Sure, of course. I'm here for you.
Thanks, Julian. Do you remember how you got the role in the Avengers to begin with? Was it quite a drawn-out audition process or anything?
I'm sorry, my memory is crap. I think they knew that they wanted me. I didn't have to audition, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think they knew, they knew Jimmy, and they knew about me. And yeah, it was a really nice experience. He was such a great guy. I've found that the greatest people are also nice. It's the mediocre ones that are.
I mean, what was it like making TV programs back in the late 60s compared to more modern times? Was it any discernible differences?
Not really, no. Not much difference. I used to do a lot of TV in Granada. I had a kids show called A Man and a Dog, I remember. And there was this dog, a big, I think it was a very large animal. And it was fine. It was easy. Fine, no problems.
And how is it?
Lovely.
How is it filming in Israel compared to, say, in the UK? Is it different in terms of working hours or production techniques, or is it kind of fairly sort of universal?
No, it's the same. Absolutely the same. Yeah. Yeah, they're very professional, very talented people here.
Wonderful. Do you have a favorite location that you've worked with? In your career, a favorite country you've worked in that springs to mind?
Japan. I've done my one-man show in Japan.
Lovely.
And at the first night in the theatre, a group of Japanese people came and sang Israeli songs, which was really weird. I mean, that was like so funny. So I've done it. Where else have I done it? All over the place. China. Did it for the Chinese, for the ambassador, I think. Yeah. And they oh yeah, that was funny. All the important Chinese people that I did the show for all to ask my autograph. It was so peculiar. They were the important ones, and they were asking me for my autograph. Yeah, America, all over. Very good audiences, lovely people.
And how much recognition do you get for something like the Avengers? How much of your fan mail or people?
Nothing.
Not
No, not anymore. I did at the time. I didn't get fan mail, I have to admit. But here in Israel, I'm terribly well known because I did a children's show about 20 years ago, which was a huge hit. Child, and it was a huge hit, and people come up to me to this day after 20 years and say that I changed his life. A man said that the other day. I changed his life. He would run to see the show. It made his childhood happy. And I'm saying it without ego or anything. It's the most extraordinary thing that I ever heard. It's beautiful.
I think when somebody goes into the entertainment business, you don't necessarily think of those moments of the effect that you have on people's lives and
No,
how
you don't.
important you might be to
Yeah, no, you don't. You don't think of that. You just think of the moment.
I think it's the same with something like the Avengers. It's a
Yeah.
multi-generational thing. We have people in the audience watching who watched it in the 60s as it went out.
Sure.
You have somebody who's watching with his son who is just about to turn 10, so is introducing to new generations all the time.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
well, why do you think something like the Avengers? Why do you think we're still talking about it all these years later? You know,
Well, it was a sensational show. I mean, it has to be one of the most beautiful women ever.
yeah,
She was stunningly beautiful, and it's just extraordinary beauty, and she was great. And Patrick was just suave and gentleman and very British, you know, and everything that we love.
Yeah.
So they matched, and it was gorgeous, and it was memorable. It was memorable.
Would you have encountered Patrick
was-
at any point?
Huh?
I was just wondering. Sorry to interrupt. I was just wondering if you had encountered Patrick McNee where you were filming, and what your memories of Patrick might have been.
Oh, he was just very, very nice, you know, and polite and reserved.
Yeah.
So when you think of it, he has to work with in every show with completely different actors and different people all the time, you know.
Yeah.
So you have to be polite and nice.
And
But he was lovely.
I suppose the responsibility of being the lead in the show, and I suppose you've had that as well with your children's show, carrying the weight of the show. What's it like being the head of a show and people coming into it, and I suppose you become a bit like a father figure to them.
Yes, absolutely. It's lovely, and you make them feel as comfortable as possible, and give them the good material to use and to do.
Yeah.
Because it'll echo back on you.
Yeah. And did you inherit any of your father's musical talent, Julian? You a musical man?
Not really, no. I loved jazz drumming. So that he bought me a drum set.
Right. Yeah.
And I used to drum along with, and he was very sweet about it, because I mean he wasn't at all about jazz or anything like that. But he allowed me my little quirks and foibles. He was a lovely guy, very brilliant.
Wonderful.
Also a conductor as well.
Yeah. And it must be very nice to be growing up in that very sort of talented, artistic, must be very sort of a thriving environment to be in.
Yeah. Very, very nice.
Wonderful. I was. Do you have a favourite role that you've played in your career, and if so, what would it be?
The one that I played when I was a child in Israel.
Yes.
It's called The Garden Party. And it was a lovely role, and I would improvise like mad, and they were all very nice about it. And, my Hebrew is not good.
Yeah.
So I had to learn a lot of words that I'd never heard before. You know? And everybody was very sweet about it and nice and generous and lovely.
There's a couple of nice comments that Elaine Spooner has sent in, so I thought I'd just read them out. Elaine read that artist Tracy Eamon said that she had a fear of clowns because of this very episode. So I think it has been quite.
Wow.
It's been stuck with certain
Is
people.
that so?
Apparently, yeah.
Wow. What?
And the
not quite the effect we wanted, but still.
no, well, I suppose if you don't like clowns to begin with, you're not going to be.
Yeah, no, that's true. There's some people that hate clowns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the nice thing about the Avengers, particularly this episode is the violence is very tongue-in-cheek, it's slapstick, the quick change fight at the end.
Yeah,
So it's not really going to
sure.
scare. It's not, it's not going to be. It's not brutal.
No.
So it's a nice way to handle violence. I think. And the other
Absolutely. Yeah.
she made was Morrissey of the Smiths fame. We think that he got the idea for the Smiths. Stop me if you think you've heard this one before, which is because he used lines from TV shows and a big fan of the Avengers and whatnot, and there may be an influence with Morrissey and the Smiths, which I thought was quite interesting.
Right.
See if there's anything else, any questions to wrap up. Nigel Beasley mentioned we've already mentioned this, your advert for White's Lemonade, the secret lemonade
Yeah.
drinker. Do you know how you got that advert in the first place?
I used to do a lot of adverts.
Yeah.
A lot, and they just took me automatically, I think. I didn't have to audition.
No, that's wonderful.
But a whole bunch of ads that I used to do.
Yeah. I mean, is that work in adverts quite nice as a sort of
Yes, it's lucrative and it's short.
Yeah. Did you do
But you know what? I think I paid for half of my house from R. White's Lemonade.
Oh wow.
From the repeats. So bless its soul.
I might buy a bottle tomorrow in celebration.
Yeah.
And did you do much publicity for a show like the Avengers? Would you have done photo shoots and you on TV
No.
and that? So
Nothing.
no.
Nothing.
I suppose if it was a show these days that was prime time, and it might be a different sort of experience, perhaps.
Well, actually, there was probably a photographer on set. Because there were photos of us, so there must have been.
Oh yeah,
Not a special shoot.
Yeah. I mean, Linda sort of did touch on it in terms of breaking into the industry and going to drama school and how expensive it is to do that now. Do you think that you would have be where you are today in terms of all your achievements if you were starting out now, or do you think there was something magical about when you and Linda were in the industry?
No, I think that when you got talent, it'll happen. If you've got real talent, hard burning talent, and that's all you want to do. It sort of inevitably compromised, nothing else. And all my life, I never be anything else but a comedian.
Yeah, save your talented.
And yeah. I mean, now I'm writing a children's book. Well, we had an epidemic here. I don't know if you heard about it.
No.
No, it's called Corona.
And- yes. That old thing.
So I wrote I wrote a book and a play and various bits and pieces because I can't stop creating.
And do you ever wish to write your autobiography? Is that something that you'd like to do?
Yeah, somebody is writing it with me actually, and somebody else is doing a documentary about me, and every time I talk about my life to this lady, the people film it. The document, it's in the documentary.
Oh wow! Yeah.
A weird experience, but
Do
very nice people.
you know roughly when these are going to come out? Do you have an idea of?
Now, no.
Work in progress.
No idea at all. No idea.
We had a question from Elaine come in. Do you remember working with Shirley MacLaine in The Bliss of Mrs. Blossom?
Mrs. Blossom. I do, yes. She was lovely. Like all great people, she was adorable.
Yeah.
Very, very fine. That's all I remember. I mean, my part was small.
Apart from Linda, of course, do you have a favourite actor that you've worked with in your career?
Well, I've been so alone, you see. I've always been a soloist, and apart from Linda, I think is certainly one of my favorites. She has much charm and beauty. I mean, it's not fair to share it. And who else? Oh, I used to work with Bernard Braden. You know him? Bernard Braden was a comedian, Canadian comedian. And I was on his TV show every week. Yeah, I'd forgotten that. Pathetic, isn't it? Yeah, I'd forgotten that. I used to write my material and do a sort of a thing every week. And my worst experience, I think, in my entire professional career, is when I stood up in front of the camera live, and I was singing this song and I forgot the words on live camera. And there was nothing I could do about it. I just said, I'm sorry. Pathetic. That's the worst experience I've ever had.
I mean, do you generally usually like the buzz of live performances, or is it always kind of a bit? Do you ever get used to having that live audience?
A live audience is fabulous. You know how to work it. It's a fabulous thing. It's a moving, living entity. It's one person. It's one thing. It's not a whole bunch of people. It's one moving thing. It's really interesting. And unless, of course, you do what I did and dry up and say, I'm sorry. Oh, you boy. What an experience.
I'm sure all actors.
Luckily, I don't think about it anymore.
I'm sure all actors have that kind of nightmare. You know.
Oh, you know, the very first time I walked on stage professionally, I was a prop boy in a show called The Folder Rolls.
Yeah.
Tonight, Edgar can't make it. You have to do the dog song, and the dog song was with a lot of other people. We all walked across at different times, sort of a mechanical dog, and singing this song to the dog with the famous music. Okay,
yeah.
I rehearsed all day, and I got it perfect. And I went on stage, and I had a heart, and my heart literally skipped a beat. There were people there. There was an audience, all staring up at me. I hadn't expected that at all. I mean, I knew they'd be there, but it hadn't been part of my rehearsal. And I did the whole thing in gibberish. I could tell the words. Did the whole thing in complete nonsense. Vlandens grinsen bjodelklad, krappelflit flons, and spune the waddle battle cringe and waddle on the bones. And when I got off stage, one of the actors said, "How did you do that, Julian?" I said, "How did I do what?" He said, "Well, it was all nonsense. It all rhymed." And I remember that one of the words I said was "mama." I was calling for my mother. Oh dear. Oh Lord.
And my final question to you Julian, do you have a character, a type of role you wish to play that you haven't? What's the future hold for you?
Well, I'm getting old now. I'm 82. I'm 82. You hear me? And not much I can do anymore because I've got so many bad stunts and bad falls that my back is crap and it's all seized up. So I want to start writing more than I've done, and yeah, writing. That's what I want to do, and I do a lot of drawing too, and bits and pieces. Sculpt as well.
Oh, Very good. And how long have you been doing sculpting for? Has that always been?
Well, all my life, really. I mean, I my latest work is in basalt. Basalt is like lava. It's from lava. It must be the hardest thing in the world. And I blunt my chisel every 3 hits with it. So I've been doing faces, heads with that.
Yeah.
And the wood, I've got lots of wood carvings I've done, and soapstone as well. And yeah, so I'm not useless yet.
You like to keep busy and active.
Yeah.
You did mention you're doing a lot of stunts in your career. When you did the Avengers, you have worked with majors like Joe Dunn and Rocky Taylor, or would they have any input, or would you just do your own?
No. I was most of the stunts I did was in the orchestra. If anybody, by the way, wants to see some of my work, go to YouTube. I have a channel, work, whatever, and there's lots of bits and pieces there. But what are we talking about?
Stunts.
Oh, right. So in the orchestra, I did these 10 chapters, and I did my own stunts. Just falling into bushes and tripping up and smacking into things, nothing too specific. But I did wreck my back, and I had to have an operation, and they put in like a cage into my back with 4 screws. I have a cage in my back with 4 screws.
Wow.
And I don't have any more pain because of the operation.
Oh, good. That's very good.
Yeah, that's cool.
I mean, but have you always enjoyed doing your own stunts? And do you have a stunt that you were particularly, we love?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, they're not extraordinary. I mean, I don't do like fantastic stuntmen do. I don't do that. But I fall into things and I bump into things. And I trip up and if you see some of the chapters of the orchestra, see.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, one of our viewers have said, Ian, who's watching along, says the orchestra it's not released on DVD yet, but it's probably bits and pieces are certainly probably available on YouTube and places like that. So
it's in YouTube, yeah.
I'd advise people to, and I'm sure we will after our conversation, want to delve deeper into your career and some of the projects we've touched on.
Hope so.
Well, I think that's all I want to say to you, Julian. I don't know if there's anything you want to say to wrap up, or anything to our audience at all.
Well, I'd like to thank you for being a very nice host.
Oh, thank you, Julian.
You're very comfortable.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it very much, and I loved to see Linda again. It was gorgeous. Looking what somebody's saying about Bernard Braden. Yeah.
Oh, let's see what that was. Oh, Bernard Braden did On the Brain Beat. On the Braden Beat. He appeared on films with his wife, Barbara Kelly. And
Barbara Kelly,
lost his job to Esther Ranson, who appeared on his show.
Esther Ranson, yeah.
Well, that was,
didn't know that.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
interesting.
Oh, indeed, yeah.
Okay, Philip.
Well, just leaves me to say thanks very much, Julian, for joining us this evening, and of course to Linda as well. I think we've all had a wonderful evening reminiscing about the Avengers and everything in between. So thank you very much, and all the best in the future.
Thank you very, very much, Philip. It was delightful.
Yeah, great pleasure.
Bye.